Hey guys, so this morning's the last stretch from collecting our first ever narrowboat from Peterborough and bringing her all the way down to St Neots. We've encountered so many niggles along the way, from tides to killer swans, from leaks to, well, just not to panic. One more day and we finally get to take a closer look at our nasty leaking problem, and then the task of preparing our awesome new houseboat for our huge 2-year adventure tackling every canal and river on the English network. Woo! So here we go guys, the last little stretch from St Neots to the outskirts of St Neots. Let's fire her up, let's get a chug on. Little bit of the journey, guys.
We made it!
We've nearly made it, and it's pretty much been smooth sailing, apart from a couple of crashes, a couple of stackies, a couple of getting caught in thunderies, a couple of spideries. You know, just the standard. But it's looking good, and we should be there soon. Absolutely amazing little mooring spots here. So people were probably renting a little patch of grass next to the river where they could store their boat, and what was once just a garden shed had cleverly over the years expanded to what could pretty much be a house. Awesome. Would love to get my mitts on one of them one day. News. Hi guys, how's it going?
Hi everyone.
So here we are at our designated mooring area, which is located in...
Just on the outskirts of Ely.
Are we really?
No.
No. We are actually in St Neots, actually just down the road from St Neots, aren't we? Mm-hmm. So what a trip. I mean, every episode somehow ended in a cliffhanger, didn't it?
It did. It was a proper like dun dun dun.
It was completely unintentional as well. I think this new way of life just throws these new things at you like every time.
You just have to go with it.
You
That's
do.
all you can do.
And it's fun. Yeah, it's been fun.
It is really fun.
So we can take a little breather now. We're fully moored up to do work on the boat here on the outskirts of Ely, St Neots.
So as is life, we had all these thoughts and ideas and plans about what we were going to do first when we first brought the boat to the mooring. Just checking I'm not going to fall over on this bridge. Of course, then we were struck with the leak. So this has become our #1 priority. Let's get investigating it, I say.
Let's get our hands dirty. Before we call on any help whatsoever, we want to see if we can locate the leak.
Get scurrying around and like digging around in all the little corners, like tracing the pipework and stuff. Excited.
Bex loves getting her hands dirty.
I do.
I don't. Okay, so we actually wanted to start originally on the canals because we thought they're a lot easier. But you don't choose where you buy your boat from, and this one so happened to be on a river near Peterborough. Getting the boat from Peterborough, as you saw, and bringing it all the way down to St Neots on a week journey, which in a car would normally take about an hour, I think. But as you know, boating life is a lot more chilled. It's like walking speed, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. So instead we started off on the River Nene and made our way through the middle levels onto the River Ouse, which is where we now reside.
So in a weird way, starting out on the rivers and having to do all these sort of scary parts, well, I thought they were scary, Bex loved it, blessing in disguise, because it taught us so much. We were thrown in at the deep end, we were thrown into tidal areas that we would have never experienced, I don't think, on the canals, would we? I don't know, I don't think so. These huge sluices that you encounter on the rivers, which I think are like a giant version of a lock, but I might be completely wrong about that, I'm not quite sure. The number one thing it taught me was not to panic. Everything will work out in the end. And everyone's always there to help anyway, so... Are they?
Yeah, definitely. I think if you keep a level head, you can't go wrong. The minute you start panicking about these things, that's when things get chaotic and a bit out of control.
Okay, so day 0.
So we were fortunate enough to have a whole day's worth of training with the previous owner. He took us out, showed us the ropes. We really got a feel of the boat, and it was amazing. As well as anything else, it kind of took the pressure off of us. We could just we had the comfort blanket of a guy there who was experienced as we kind of fumbled our way through.
Day 1, that was the really big eye-opener for me, and probably Bex too. Was it?
I was just mega excited.
Obviously waking up for the very first time on the boat, ready to charge off down the rivers on our adventure. This was the moment we dreamt of for months and months.
I think it was quite fortunate that I was just so excited, and I was blissfully unaware of what was to come when we hit upon that first sluice, which really kind of made me have to test the skills that I had learned in that short time. Oh my god, does that make sense?
One of my big things at the beginning of this was to try and get Bex a bit more experience. I wanted Bex to get confident with driving it, so I let Bex take full control on the first day. By the end of it, she was 100 times better than me. I mean, she hit no sides in any of the locks, in any of the sluices, absolute natural. Me, on the other hand, I stacked it and nearly fell into the water. There's like 10 spiders on every single window after 8 o'clock at night. I mean, that is just terrifying when you're already in a narrow space.
I kept coming into the lounge and just finding Chris like sat in a chair in the very centre of the boat, just like wouldn't move his arms. He was sort of like this. Like.
It was a real eye-opening moment to me when we first started cruising, and I realised that you can just sort of moor up anywhere you like. So you just pick a spot, bung it there for the night and cook yourself dinner, and it's amazing.
Chris, like seeing how enthused he was to be caught out in this rainstorm, and he's just cracking on, and I think that tells you a story about how beautiful and sort of free it feels to just cruise away down the rivers on our lovely boat.
So there were so many first times in this trip. First time filling up diesel, keep calling it petrol. First time like emptying the toilets and doing all that. One big one, filling up the water tank. So we filled it up for about 30 minutes and it just kept going, all coming over on the top of the stern area. We think that is possibly where the leak started, but we're not 100% sure.
Every day was a new learning day for us, really, because we just never knew what we might come across.
Also getting told off for speeding the first time. I thought 4 miles an hour. You can't get told off for speeding on one of these things, can you? You can. It's hard to judge.
Do most boats have like a speedometer on them? Because ours doesn't, so it's really hard to tell.
You have to use the wind.
Denver sluice didn't meet Chris's.
Wow, look. Sorry.
I think Chris also learned as well that Denver sluice didn't quite meet his expectations, but not in a bad way, in a good way.
So the big part of the trip for me, the big scary bit, was Denver Sluice. There was tide coming in from the sea. It's absolutely humongous, and yeah, it just looked pretty scary, but then we got there and it couldn't go any smoother.
Wow, did you see that? Sorry, a really cool dragonfly just flew past my head.
Then the absolute panic of Bex finding the leak. That was eye-opening in itself. Was it coming from the shower tray? Was it coming from the hull? So a hole in the hull? Was it coming from the front where you fill it up with water? There were all these things that we were trying to sort of tackle and work out.
We had insight into so much beauty that's hidden away that you only get to capture when you're travelling down the rivers and the, well, soon-to-be canals. Cracking journey.
So originally we wanted to let you all know what we want to do on the boat to it before we set sail, but first things first. Let's find out where the bloody leak is and get the bloody leak sorted.
Got a hole in my bucket.